Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Universal Talk. On today's show, we ponder from Hollywood to the Vatican. Let's present the case. First, we must consider that the media and/or movies have some influence on the human psyche. Once we can establish this, then we can move on to manipulation of the masses via television or even movies. With the discrepancy of the first-hand accounts of various topics such as the war or earthquakes in comparison to what is presented on TV, leaves at least a question mark in many individuals' minds. What if the media, including the television and movies, presented information in a way that was less than accurate of what is really going on? Or what if the truth, however, was hidden in plain view through movies by presenting the truth in such a way that would make the viewer feel that the information is fiction? In a moment, we will have Jordan Maxwell on the show. Jordan is a preeminent researcher and independent scholar of occult religious philosophy. He is internationally acclaimed for his work along with numerous radio and television credits. He has explored the hidden foundations of Western religions and secret societies. Hello, Jordan Maxwell. Welcome to the show.
Well, hello there, Joe. Nice to be with you. Yeah, it's quite a story, isn't it?
Yeah, how about it? So, go ahead.
Unfortunately, most people are oblivious to the story and don't realize what they're being subjected to, and have no idea of the history of the background of this whole subject of how secret societies and groups are organized to hurt the other group. So we're seeing it everywhere. I cannot believe that people do not at least begin to wonder why there is so much war and devastation and violence and so much negative stuff going on among the human race. I mean, people live in a town, even a little small town, get along. I mean, everybody gets along in a small town, and people, generally speaking, get along in a larger town. Why can't we get along in the world? And the reason why is because it's not supposed to happen. It's a good business to keep people agitated and at war with each other. Back in the 60s, there was a great quote on cars around L.A. It says, "War is good business. Invest your son." So it is a business, and it's a business that's killing the human race. And religion is as far as I'm concerned, religion is probably the bottom line on all of this stuff going on, because it is a religious stuff that's going on in the world. The Muslims against the Christians and Jews against the Arabs, and of course then it gets even higher, the church against the Protestant religion, and God knows it's everywhere. And so all of this is being organized. It's not just left to the people. And that's what I've been talking about for a long time.
Right. So
anyway,
who are the key players in all this, in your perspective?
I think one of the major key players is the Vatican. As far as I'm concerned, I've been looking at this subject for 48 years, and I've heard all the stories. I've been around the world, and I've heard all the commentators and the researchers, and I know so many of them personally in many countries of the world. And I've just listened to all the stories and looked at all of the facts. And as far as I'm concerned, the Vatican is one of the most treacherous organizations on the face of the earth. And if you go back and think about it, that Rome, starting with the Caesars in ancient Rome, going down to this very day, Rome has dominated Europe for about 2,500 years. Dominated Europe for 2,500 years. And, of course, Europe has dominated the world for about 2,500 years. So all of the wars going on from China, Asia, all over Africa, all over the world, can be traced back to a power struggle of a very, very powerful, sinister, and evil establishment of criminals. And all roads lead to Rome. So once you begin to see how the Roman Empire has dominated Europe and how Europe dominated America and how the whole world is dominated by religion, it's a war going on for the minds and the souls of the human race. And so the Vatican represents, in my opinion, the epitome of all that is evil on the earth. Because if you go back into the history of the Roman Empire, especially the last days of the Roman Empire in the 5th century, and the devastation that it was causing all over Europe and the rest of the world, especially in the Middle East, and then see what the church did to the people of Europe with the Inquisitions, the murder, the wholesale murder of humans in Europe to gain power and money. And then today, the mainspring of war in America. If you go back and start looking at the Library of Congress and go to all of the documents of world conflict and begin to see how the manifestation of wars, violence, conspiracies against governments, etc., you'll see it's all coming out of Europe, and it's been, as I said, orchestrated. It's nothing is happening by chance, and this, and I just think it's foolish to even consider that everything just seems to happen by chance. Well, if that were true, then at least once in a while something would happen, for you, something that would make you money or something that would better your life just by chance. Well, no, nothing ever happens for the poor, the working class, the good people of the world. Nothing ever happens for them. And therefore, it's logical to believe that somebody or some groups of somebodies, some corporations, some peoples are somewhere conspiring against the others. And well, we know that happens. My God, the United States Department of Justice has a criminal conspiracies division. I mean, why would police departments in all the great cities of the world, including Washington, D.C., and their governments, have a criminal conspiracy division? And then we begin to see how publicly the government is talking about criminal conspiracies and the underworld and the organized crime are criminal conspiracies. Well, of course they are. But that's, there are two kinds of criminal conspiracies, the kind you talk about and the kind the government talks about. The kind the government talks about when they are using the term in the news that there's something like a criminal conspiracy, that's absolute. The government has proved it's a criminal conspiracy. But if you talk about a criminal conspiracy, then it's referred to as a conspiracy theory. It's
right.
Nothing to it. But with your little small mind, you come up with a conclusion. There must be a conspiracy. No. It's only if the government says that there's a conspiracy, then we can accept it. And so I know, as far as I can see now, after 48 years of looking at this, all government is a criminal conspiracy, period. Always has been. And America is not what you think it is. Nothing on this earth works the way you think it does. I need to restate that. Keep this in mind. Nothing on this earth works the way you think it does. Banks do not loan money. Banks do not do what you think they do. The police department isn't here to do what you think it does. The United States federal government is not what you think it is. It doesn't operate the way you think it does. World government, United Nations, is not what you think it is. And so, while I was growing up, I used to hear people tell me all the time, they would say, well, the whole world is operating under smoke and mirrors. It's not legitimate, it's not real, it's all smoke and mirrors. And I used to wonder, what are you talking about, the world is smoke and mirrors? I mean, you walk out in front of a truck, you get run over. That's not smoke or mirrors, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you talking about when you say the whole world is consumed with smoke and mirrors? Well, now I understand that the very foundations of Western civilization, our religions, our government, our laws, our banking, education, all the great